And now, it's time for sage advice from a literal world champion.
Candy for Valentine's Day, no brainer. It's a classic gift, but it can't just be any candy. It's got to be the right one to please your duo. That's why I say stay away from fudge. I've always been more of a licorice guy myself.
This has been sage advice from a literal world champion.
Oh my god, it makes me think that we made this matchup happen just so Azale could say something like that. Anyway, hello and welcome back to the LCS, everyone. We're about to be heading into our fourth game of the day, and guess what? It's FlyQuest Licorice, as you heard from Azale, facing off against his old team, Cloud9.
Not league related, but fudge is better than licorice as a dessert.
True.
It's just
everyone would
that.
agree with that.
Yeah.
I have absolutely no qualms with that. In league, it's a little bit more contentious, I think. Both players, for me, have been having some up and downs over the course of 2021 so far. Licorice, I think, can feel the burden a little bit on being one of the key leaders for this team, and you can see him sometimes over-forcing plays, but whenever they win, it's often because Licorice is playing well. At the same time, Fudge was struggling in lock-in tournament, some tough best-of-5 opponents, and then week one looked incredible, but there was always that caveat of like, oh, it's the, Ignite Camille with TP. So I'm excited to see how they match up now, and I think both of them have been a little volatile so far in this split, and I want to see almost like a isolated matchup. Like, I don't want to see Perks and Blabber roaming up there all the time. I want to see these two actually get a little bit of a vacuum and isolated lane, a little island to play on.
But I feel like that may not be the case. We may have to think about the junglers just in this matchup in general, right, Emily? Because, Blabber's been showing out, and Jose Deodo has been a clear focal point for Fly as well.
Yeah, so they're focal points in different ways. I feel like FlyQuest really wants Jose Deodo to be more of a carry. Obviously, Blabber is also a carry, but he interacts with his lanes quite frequently. In just the last game against 100 Thieves, we saw 5 jungle bans all absorbed by Blabber. So when he is getting targeted that much, it actually opens up so much more for C9. I'm not saying that will definitely happen today, but it's something to note that came out from 100 Thieves the other day. And I really like how both of these teams play around their junglers quite differently. So the thing I'm curious the most about is to see who interacts with their lanes when. And obviously a lot of that also depends on draft.
Speaking of draft, Crumbs, who do you think is going to be bringing out, I guess, more versatility in this case?
I think the synergy that Cloud9 has found with champions, whether it's the Galio synergies with Camille's or any other divers, or even just Zoe's with physical damage, is a good combination. But what has been, I think, newer to the scene has come out from FlyQuest with the Seraphine Maokai lane that we didn't just see yesterday. They played it against Team Liquid in their lock-in best of series. Even the Cho'Gath here from Licorice in the top side. So this is a team that is experimenting, I think, a lot more than you would have expected from a development roster. The Yone into the mid lane is also really thrilling. So I'm excited to see what FlyQuest actually do when it comes to drafting against a team like Cloud9, where you can assume that maybe they will experiment something there and thinking that they need an advantage from the laning phase to take down the finalists of the lock-in.
I love their experimentation. I think there's times where it could be used in better ways. Like we've seen last pick Maokai taken into Senate TK when you have the Seraphine. That was one of those games you're referencing. And it was very painful to see the laning phase from that. And so while I appreciate all the different angles that they're trying to take, it does feel like they themselves are learning. It's not like, ooh, we have this excellent, we know exactly how this is going to play thing cooked up and we're ready to unleash it on the LCS. It does feel like they are learning as they go a little bit. But I'd still like to see that more than just like defaulting to the meta picks right now.
Yep, we've seen the Glass Cannon Rek'Sai on C9, the Flex Seraphine over on FlyQuest. Let's go ahead and find out if any of this experimentation pays off as we hand things over to Captain Flowers and Kobe for the call.
Welcome back, everybody. Here we go into some more League of Legends action. I shook my camera again. God bless it. Anyway, I loved Isaac's intro to this game. The Fudge versus Licorice Valentine's Day comment, that was S tier. I hope that we end up getting some wacky photoshops by the end of this game after, depending on who pops off and who doesn't. That's my dream. That's my one hope for this game.
Yeah, honestly, Guess what people came here for, Flowers? This is the off-season Cloud9 Challenger Pack delivered to FlyQuest. Hey, FlyQuest, you got to rebuild. Guess what? Jack's got you covered. Here you go. Licorice, but not just Licorice, Palafox and Diamond as well, two of the most hyped up Challenger players delivered to this team. And we had an interview with Diamond the other day talking about how much he loved his time on Cloud9. He could never be angry or bitter, but he would definitely love to beat the old team, and I know that Palafox and Licorice for sure would. Licorice for sure, you know, losing his starting spot might have a little bit extra to give to Fudge in the top lane matchup. So C9 are like, you know what? Let's get Fudge something very safe up there. Gragas immediately. Don't worry.
Yep, we're already talking about the sweets for Valentine's Day, and what else is important for Valentine's Day? A nice romantic wine, which is not what Gragas has. He has a nasty old keg of probably low-quality beer, but hey, either way, it's Valentine's, man, and Fudge is in there with the Gragas locked in. Now, of course, that could also be a flex into the jungle, potentially support role as well, we will see. Seraphine, Senna, Camille, Rel, Olaf, Udyr, all banned away, but Kai'Sa's still on the table, and that means Johnson is happy to pick that one up and play it here for FlyQuest, their first pick of the draft.
I'm actually a huge fan of these adaptations for the draft space. I personally think that Rel is just super bonkers OP broken right now. FlyQuest as well have been of the same opinion. And Seraphine, this has been one of the teams. FlyQuest have been spamming this champion. It has started to make its way back into the LCS. Guess what? 75% of the plays have been FlyQuest, Johnson or Diamond, both of them switching with it. Only Immortals with one other play. Nobody else really reaching into that pool. So Cloud9 with a good target band there as well. Catching up here quickly, though, with the Sven Vulcan kill lane, the Alistar Samira. That is an oldie but a goodie. This is basically with the original synergy, original combo. As soon as Samira was released, we saw instant all over the place. Alistar plus Samira combinations. You can go for the level 2 kill so easily. You really have to respect that. Watch out for the Ignite on bottom side too.
And since this is 11.3 as opposed to 11.4, not all of those Samira nerfs are in there that people are used to playing with on the live servers. Now, taking the Leona into that pick, I also like because of the fact that Samira wants to just immediately explode you, that all-in lane that you're talking about, and Leona is much better against something like that than a squishier style support would be.
Mm-hmm. And part of the reason why Alistar goes so well with the Samira is the knock-up. You can't cleanse it away, so you don't get like double value out of cleansing a stun plus an ignite there. But we shall see how this one goes down because FlyQuest have had Jose Deodo with some pretty good defense for their bottom side. Mostly his ganks and his offense have been looking towards the top side, but they've had Johnson and Diamond pretty well warded with vision and covered down there, so they haven't been super big victims despite so many Seraphine picks and getting pushed in a decent amount.
Well, it's Rel. Or not Rel, excuse me. I was looking at the Rel right next to him. It's Hecarim along with the Rel. So both of the four-legged champions. Yes, the horse theme is being targeted by FlyQuest here, as it's also the Yone band away, Azir band out by Cloud9. Now let's see what they want to finish this draft off with. Their opponents have jungler and bottom lane, which means we still need to see both of those solo laners paying respect to Palafox on the Azir here with the first one of the two bans they have in this second half. Do they want to continue trying to target him, or would they rather throw a ban up there at Licorice, who has not been having a great performance here so far, but they still will give respect over to the Gangplank?
Okay, so they get their pick of the litter here. You can throw out your Licorice pick first, assuming that Fudge is locking in the Gragas. Could be, moved over to Blabber. I think that Gragas jungle right now is actually in a very good state, and I'm looking forward to 11.4 when they nerf jungle experience and gold for Gragas to rise up in priority because he's so good at ganking. But for this game, 11.3, I still expect it to be in the hands of Fudge, and so FlyQuest can also expect that. They actually just go ahead and blind pick for Palafox here, grab up the Syndra first. It is good all-arounder, so we'll see if Perks wants to go with an Echo or a Silas or something like that to try and get close to that Syndra and go for some kill pressure or not. Oh, Fizz would get real close too.
Okay, nope. All right, so we got Talia and Tristana locked in over here on the side of Cloud9. And back on FlyQuest, what will it be to round out this draft? The Aatrox picked up for the top lane, or nope, never mind. That's not what it's going to be here just yet. Because the picking thing flashes in and out, it was flashed out, so it didn't say picking, and I was confused.
Flowers. You're clairvoyant.
Give me the word to be there the whole time.
I'm giving you credit, okay? You called it early before it was actually locked in.
Yes, truly, my brain is just too big for my head.
Yeah, you always talk about, oh yeah, I need a Smartcaster with me, but your Skarner brain is actually a Galaxy brain, okay? He saw into the future. He knew that was coming back there on the hoverovers for Licorice. Honestly, Licorice has had some amazing Aatrox games over his career too, so he's a career-long Aatrox player. I definitely like this pick. It's not a hard counter pick into Gragas by any means, though. It definitely, we're going to get a skill matchup up on the top side. Both champions have a lot of healing, so there is a lot of counterplay for both of them on the top side, and we'll see about junglers getting involved. But remember, that is going to be one of the biggest grudge matches as Fudge replaced Licorice on Cloud9.
Yes.
But also, I know that Palafox specifically, and to a lesser degree, Diamond also really want this a win against the old organization that sold them off.
Well, let's see if they can get that win here. FlyQuest with a win will manage to go up to an even record after 2 weeks of play in the regular season LCS, and Cloud9 would love to go up to 5-1 as this second week draws to a close. Remember, for all y'all that are still remembering back from previous splits, it is not the same this time around. Your record follows you all the way into summer, all the way up until that summer playoffs, which will then determine which 3 teams go to Worlds. So every loss hurts, man. And FlyQuest wants to stop stacking those up soon.
Definitely true. Permanent record for everybody. We record them all. For those that did not see the Immortals game, by the way, the Tristana mid, we saw Insanity versus EG versus Jizuke's LeBlanc. Performed so well on it. He got a really good early trade that allowed him to just constantly push in on the minion wave. You start explosive shot with Tristana, shove in the wave on your opponent. You don't require a tremendous amount of mana for explosive shot shoving. Even if you do cast it once in a while, most of it comes from the passive explosions on those minions, giving you a lot of options for your jungler. And that's just what Blabber wants. He always wants to be with pushing lanes, offensive lanes that can punish on these small openings. And guess what? Tristana, you leave her alone with a turret for any sort of small opening, and that thing loses a turret plate at least with just a couple seconds.
It is bad news for certain, as the Talia will be starting off with the red buff, and across the river, it's Jose Diodo starting up on the other side of the jungle. Chicken Camp moving towards the red, up towards the Krugs. You know the drill. Graves is one of those champions that loves to go for the power farming route and just scale up and be a big threat in his own right. So that does mean that these two will be at opposite sides of the map, most likely, once they've got their double buffs and they're ready to potentially make a gank. Now, eyes on that bottom lane, too, with both of those supports being so aggro and so capable of engaging. I'm expecting that bottom lane to turn pretty action-packed.
So am I. And then guess what? If you look at the jungler starts, Jose Diodo started up on red side for them, so he'll be clearing down towards the bottom side for Diamond and Johnson, being able to cover. Meanwhile, Blabber and the rest of Cloud9 know they have him pushing up towards top side away, so they're letting the lane push in. They're not contesting over the level 2 fight for the Samira Alistar. They know that aggression, which we are super used to seeing, going for the all-in, Ignite looking for the kill, is going to be way too much without with a jungle discrepancy here as far as the starting locations. We'll see about the Scuttle Crab Bite. Should be an easy pickup on bottom side there for Jose. Likewise for Blabber.
Yeah, when you look at how everything's sort of being controlled, I mean, Licorice is rotating down here to try to see if maybe there's something to be done with this Crab, but Blabber will now approach. Crab loses its shield instantly. And honestly, Licorice breaking the Crab's shield means that Blabber didn't even have to immediately use the shove on the Crab to break that, so he sees the full disengage from Licorice. He still feels comfortable just doing it for speed's sake, but it would have meant that he's able to keep that shove ready in case Licorice wanted to stay around and try to harass him over it. But Jose Diodo picking up the Crab on the bottom side of the map, now setting up for a play here in mid lane, going after Perks. First auto attack, second auto attack, flash follow-up, baby. Jose Diodo getting it done in the mid lane with the first blood.
Cool, guys. Don't even look at explosions, Flowers. He lays down the Q smoke screen, follows immediately with the flash. He knows he can finish it off. Phase rush proc for the extra speed right back out of the tower. And Perkz is toast. I was just about to say, Perkz, you can see him hovering on the top side of the map because that's where his jungler has control. But he actually, instead of hopping out north up the river, hops back towards his tower where Jose can actually follow. If you see the Graves coming from the bottom river, I think you kind of have to hightail it out of there towards the northern part of the river instead. Despite the wave state not being the best for Palafox in his hands, you can live another day, get your reset off, and teleport back anyways. But man, big props to Jose there. No hesitation. Count one for LATAM.
Well, let's take a look at how things are going across the board here, because the farm is even in every single role. It is 1 or 2 apart. Even the supports are synced up in this game. The gold lead just strictly that first blood that FlyQuest found for themselves with the kill plus the assist money equating to that 600 gold advantage. As Vulcan's coming around from the side here in bottom, but Diamond's just flashing the FlyQuest logo. He's saying, you're not going to catch me, bro. I'm just going to fall back here a little bit. Blabber's hanging around in the brush, but Diamond and Johnson do not want to give him a chance to go. Blabber goes in. Seismic shove comes out. Johnson gets away with the flash and the heal staying alive now as Vulcan nearly dies. The Ignite's still going and Diamond gets the kill.
Woo! He called his shot beforehand. 2 Flowers. Flash of the emote. Guess what? Turns around the kill as well. Vulcan under tower, just barely in tower range. And Diamond nails him with the stun. Ignite on. Last tick kills him. What a turnaround. Full combo. It was great too. It's the Owlstar full combo knockup, headbutt, pulverize into Talia, shove back, seismic shove there, gets the knockback, and they get the summoner spells out of Kai'Sa, but Diamond gets the last laugh. Here we go though, Blabber back at it.
All right, Blabber saying he's not going to be deterred by the bad gank in the bottom lane. Sets up the seismic shove. Licorice wisely waits to see the marker on the ground before flashing and gets himself out of the gank.
Yeah, because I think Fudge had already E'd in the earlier exchange. Ideally, you want the Gragas to be able to E-flash, or even just flash E to try and get it. But I believe it was on cooldown, so Blabber just goes for it, burns the flash there. Now it's really easy for Gragas to combo. When Gragas has flash advantage over Aatrox and level 6, you get to choose the all-ins. You get to choose, even in jungle, when junglers come up there. So that is going to be a very big advantage in this matchup. Flash, here we go, Perkz.
Oh, Perkz getting flashed on, and he's dead again. Diamond, 2 kills on this Leona.
Woo, FlyQuest came into this one with something to prove, Flowers, and they are proving it pretty quickly here. Palafox now 2 assists on the 2 kills here that they've gotten versus Perkz, as well as bottom lane turning around that gank. Just everything coming up FlyQuest.
This Leona's feeling great heading further into this game now. 2 kills in 7 minutes. Getting plenty of gold in the pockets. Already has the completed Mercury treads. Diamond is in a great position to continue trying to carry this game, Kobe.
Yeah, I mean, the first one with the last tick of Ignite, you're like, yeah, get that one. Don't care who the money goes into.
Just get it in there.
Yeah, just get it in there. Let's take a look at the roaming that they did after the play, though, because you can already see Alistar as well as Tristana here for Cloud9 moving up towards the top side. That flash that they previously burned on Licorice, they want to burn more.
Well, Licorice stuck underneath the tier 1 turret. Just going to walk up and check this brush here. Checks it with his sword and will not find Vulcan, who can just walk away now. FlyQuest still enjoying slightly under a 2,000 gold lead here 8 minutes into the game. But Blabber is not one to be caught sleeping. Even if things aren't going the team's way here so far, he will move down, start up the Rift Herald with the help of Sven and Vulcan, who are in this top half of the map. Licorice is very far forward, and Vulcan's coming in looking to make the play. Headbutt pulverized into the cast, makes it impossible to miss, and Licorice is down. They give the kill over to Sven, and Cloud9 is on the board.
There you go. They make good on Blabber's earlier gank. That flashless Aatrox is a juicy target. Cloud9 don't give up on it. They still make the play. honestly, a false sense of confidence delivered by Diamond roaming up. Licorice was like, okay, cool, I can actually move up for these minions. I've got my support to follow their roam here, but it was the entire duo roam up, and they got the Rift Herald. You know, there is they haven't completed the Rift Herald yet, so they didn't get the audio cue from it, and it is just a good heads-up play there from Vulcan and Sven to make the call to finish up that play onto Licorice. Exactly what Cloud9 needed to get some gold back into this, because FlyQuest are not going to let up on their pressure. They just rotate right back down, take up the Dragon in exchange for that Rift Herald, and Cloud9 will use it to catch right back up in gold, but FlyQuest will retain that Dragon lead and have eyes towards the bottom quadrant. Jose counter-jungling right now, and they even are kind of threatening towards Perks, who has flash back up, so much safer target now.
You mentioned retaining the lead, but the proper use of the Rift Herald after already taking down the first plates awards first turret gold with all those plate bonuses over to C9, and now they're the ones back in the driver's seat thanks to that neutral objective. Yes, Jose Diodo has stolen away a lot of the jungle from the bottom side of Cloud9, and he got the Drake. But good job from C9 recovering the game up until this point. Fudge will find Jose, but the damage has already been done, and he can get away safe.
Yeah, you see those two giant minion waves. That was 2.5 on top side and 2 minion waves on bottom side. Brings that gold straight even here for FlyQuest. Fudge was seen getting into lane already with the ward over here on the Tri-Brush routes for Licorice, so he knows he has to play a little bit more cautiously still, a little bit of a timer on that flash, and since Fudge didn't have to blow his with the Alistar roam, he's still in danger.
Nice little trade there onto Licorice, though. Body slamming him back into the waiting barrel. Didn't get maximum barrel time, but hey, any barrel that hits is a good barrel. Total gold on the left side of your screen right now, and Sven's the one leading the charge here by about 400 or so. Palafox and Jose Diodo and Blabber all right behind him, right around the same amount there, just about 4K.
I just imagine Gragas patting his barrel. That's a good barrel.
That's a good barrel right there. That's the kind of barrel we're looking for.
Well done. Any barrel that hits, that's a good barrel.
That's a good barrel, brother. It's the kind of barrel I'm going for, I tell you what. Now,
horseshoes, hand grenades, and barrels. Those are all ones that give you a decent amount of leeway here. It is going to be a reset, though, and Cloud9 trying to use their long lane on top side to gain some momentum. I really like this since that's their big advantage. They actually move in with control wards. They've opened up the top area of the map, and they're trying to punish a little bit more for FlyQuest here, taking away Krugs. Not going to be able to get the Raptors as well, but they still establish a pretty deep foothold here. And since FlyQuest have a little bit more difficulty in pushing that out, you know, Palafox on the Syndra has to be very cautious. You see him waiting a long time until they get visual confirmation to be able to actually push out.
Always better to err on the side of caution in these situations. Otherwise, you can find yourself being a quick 300 gold for one of your opponents and a couple hundred for whoever decides to help them out. Now, once again, Jose Diodo trying to contest these smaller camps. He'll just walk up, walk right back out of there. 2 minutes until our next Drake spawns this game. Not the fastest first Drake, so the second one will be around here right about the 14-minute mark. But until that point, man, we have just such close gold in this game. Any big move from either side, or conversely, a big mistake from either side could be huge in determining the way this mid-game phase is going to play out.
And one of those mistakes could come like in the dark area of the map we were just highlighting. Palafox plays the safe play. I really like that reset from him. Even though he gives up some minions, they wait for the reset until he has Diamond come over. They can try and clear out some of that vision that Cloud9 planted in their red quadrant of the jungle and safely take it away, so that, as you say, they're not the ones to give up the big mistake, the big opening for C9 to get right back in it, because FlyQuest are in a very good spot right now. They have a lot of rewards they can still take if they win the next team fight. So much standing gold here left with all these outer towers. We even have an extra minute here left on turret plates if they can make any headway there. Looks like it's going to be very safe play right now as they actually transition into a solo lane Kai'Sa, rotating Johnson to try and match Perks on the Tristana. It's definitely very, very, very Tristana favorites, Perks being solo lane, but also just even in that 1v1. So Jose Diodo looking bottom instead.
do we see a full-on dive here? The barrel's just going to allow them to pick up the farm underneath the turret without any real danger. Yeah, you might have some plates take some damage here, but considering you still got another 20 seconds before those fall, the turret itself is not under threat of being taken. Drake will be spawning here in about 20 seconds. And with a big team fight likely looming here, I do want to point out, Sven's got the Immortal Shield Bow on the Samira. This champion can pop off if not properly answered in a team fight. And in terms of proper answers, you're looking for easily applicable CC. So I'm trying to track Diamond and Sven specifically. The interaction between those two. Can Diamond shut down the mobile, crit-heavy, lifesteal, refreshing, 3-second cooldown ulti? Or will Samira get a highlight?
List. There's going to be a long list of pros for Samira. It is going to be an easy rotation, though. They actually called down Johnson to rotate over for the Dragon, so FlyQuest rack it up. And that is an Ocean Drake contributing to the cause. FlyQuest, always the philanthropist, as their organization this split is going with Support the Bees.
Love to see it.
To another good cause.
Save the bees. Everybody likes honey and a naturally balanced ecosystem. I don't know a lot about bees, but I think both of those things were correct, so I am going to say that and stick with it. As Perks is sticking with the Rift Herald here. Cloud9 going after this one. They got a lot of success off of the first one, Kobe. It's what brought this game back to even in terms of gold. They got all the plates and the full turret in that top lane, and we'll see if they can have as much success here with Rift Herald number 2.
Yeah, bees are very important in pollinating flowers and moving seeds across the terrain. So that's the important part here for the ecosystem. Honestly, this League of Legends ecosystem looking pretty stable for them as well. Even with the exposed lane up there and the constant incisions of C9 vision, they've been able to keep it up, keep their focus on dragon stacking. No extra gold being given over to Cloud9 during this duration. FlyQuest kind of according to plan there, but they go aggro here.
Vulcan responding, though, ready to try to keep his 80 carry safe. And it looks like nobody's dropping in this one, my friend. Vulcan had to pop the ulti. Diamond used his as well, but that's about it.
All right, no blood drawn, then everybody can just walk away. We call that one off. Just a scratch, no harm, no foul. Continue the truce here. Everybody still working on their mythics. We get the first ones being completed coming in. I like the Turbo Chem tank here from Fudge this game because he needs to be a big playmaker for them.
Nice flash from Licorice there, getting himself on the other side of that ulti. If he gets knocked back into Fudge and Blabber, he's dead.
Definitely true. That's why I like the Turbo Chem tank here for Fudge. He can burn flashes with his lower cooldown ultimate. Then he can force plays. Pop that extra speed for the engage. Your flash is still ready for your body slam as well. And you've got Vulcan on Alistar. Probably the most hyped up Alistar that we have had in the LCS. Has done so much work in the past for Cloud9 with this champion. So C9 feeling pretty good about their playmakers, I have to feel, at this moment in the game. You know, mobility boots on Vulcan, cruising right across the map, keeping up some extra vision on top side to make sure they can push that one out again. But I'm just waiting for that pincer move, because if you get a flank from either him or Fudge, or even just a deep ward behind these control wards, they can pull it off. Or, hey, Blabber.
Whoa, Blabber going in, man. Not afraid to ride the wall to stop Licorice's escape. They know that he used the flash to try to get away from the Gragas ulti in the bottom lane. He is vulnerable now, and Fudge goes in with the big belly body slam and takes him down.
Yep, that's going to be another punish on Licorice. As you said, Fudge burns the flash by himself this time around, and guess what? Tristana left down bottom side means explosive shot into that tower. That thing goes poof instantly. So Cloud9, huge play there. Blabber sees the angle, cuts him off, and delivers him to Fudge.
Perks is allowing this turret to execute as many minions as possible. Just continues clearing out the next minion wave himself. And now those caster minions are about to die, Perks can just finish up his farm in there. One lone caster minion left standing. And the gold graph has been very close this entire time, Kobe. A little bit of blue here, a little bit of red there, but now it's starting to favor Cloud9 just ever so slightly.
This could be an interesting gold graph. If it was zoomed out more, if you just change the y-axis a little, bump those numbers up. But these are pretty
make it look like a
tame
roller
numbers.
coaster.
These are rookie numbers right here. We need to pump those up so before we get some bigger dips, shorter gains as well, some more action around there.
Wall
This is,
Street Kobe.
Yeah, this is not the typical Cloud9 pace. I think they've had some learnings here. And honestly, a lot of it is due to the play from FlyQuest too. A lot of pretty safe options from them. Let's see if they can actually force something around this time.
Vulcan's going in, but a lot of damage returning now as Diamond is about to die at the onset of the fight, but he lives just long enough. Perks ends up grabbing the kill on that, but they trade back their own support. Licorice going after Perks off to the south as the 3v3 keeps on going up there back in the mid lane. Licorice still looking for the damage. Rift Herald summoned up for some reason. We also still got Perks running away, somehow staying alive. Shelly's marching down mid. Run, Shelly, run! Get in there!
Charge!
Okay, she didn't kill the turret or anything, but at least she got the headbutt.
That's a good Shelly. There's good barrels. There's also good Shelly. She got her damage off. Job done. Double teleport out here for Cloud9, though, still going.
Then we got a TP coming in from FlyQuest here. They know that this Infernal Drake is up. They want to be able to fight for this. They have the first two stacked up already. They need to keep that stack going. Good job there utilizing the Syndra to steal away the Scuttle Crab. Make sure that one is a free take for FlyQuest. Get extra control
Diamond
over this
behind.
bottom side river. Diamond still with no ulti recharge just yet. Might have ourselves a smite fight. Diamond flashing away, staying alive. Jose Diodo grabbing the dragon here for his team. Now 20 minutes on the clock as Diamond tries to walk away. FlyQuest wants to disengage. Diamond likely to die here at the very start. There you go. Fudge picking that one up. Vulcan goes in looking to tank everybody here, throwing Palafox into a bad spot, and Blabber grabs a kill on him. Johnson tries to jump in, picks up one on Vulcan, but the trade back is way too powerful. Cloud9 disintegrates FlyQuest in their entirety.
That'll be a Baron, my friend. Clean here from Cloud9. They just chase them all down. It's a little bit dangerous because the Dragon Smite fight was won by Jose Diodo. So 3 dragons now for FlyQuest. But with this gold lead and the gold they can get from pushing with Baron and mid tower going down shortly, this is going to be a huge item advantage for C9. It's going to be very hard for FlyQuest to even look at getting that last dragon. Diamond was so far behind enemy lines there, behind Cloud9, that they just turn on him. I really like this play. All the members saying, hey, you are not on C9 anymore. And they turn around,
Nobody.
instantly take him out. The rest of the team also had the same escape path. So with him running up that way, there's no way for the rest of FlyQuest to kite and get out of there. Cloud9 just collect everybody's head on that one. All 5 picked up, Baron buff in tow, plenty of towers to destroy as well. This is going to be that big spike we were looking for on the gold graph. It's finally going to get above 800.
And it is well above 800, my friend. 5,000. Oh, this is a scary place for FlyQuest now. They've got to weather the storm. They're dealing with this Baron buff for the next 2 minutes and 15 seconds. C9 having only taken 3 turrets, they still have all 3 of those tier 2s that they can still lay siege to and start picking up some of that standing gold. Now Diamond is over the wall here in that Raptor pit, throwing down a control ward. They land the stun onto Perks, but he buffers it properly and manages to jump away. And C9 will just continue rotating their bodies through this top side of the jungle up towards top lane itself. Look at the vision control they got, Kobe. They're making sure that nobody from FlyQuest is safe or confident marching through this jungle.
Yeah, that tower stands no chance here. And they've got plenty of time left with the Baron buff as well. Minute and a half is a whole 3 more minion waves to spawn. They can easily get mid-secondary tower for themselves as well. FlyQuest do have all ultimates available. And Perks has no flash on the Tristana, so if they can hit him, they hit the stun.
Oh, nope,
No follow-up.
not a follow-up. Perks gets away. Tristana's such a slippery champion. It's so easy to buffer the rocket jump through so much stuff.
Yeah, I really think, though, if immediately you follow that with the Leona stun, long range, you know, hit him right with the center bullseye there, that could be the counterpunch for FlyQuest. It's definitely a hard situation, though. You know, Cloud9 has such a big lead right now. They are grouped up and ready to respond already. So they are able to get Perks out. No problem there. full reset after getting the rest of that gold, and this is going to be the big hard push. You know, Blabber's got his Zonias, much safer on the Taliyah. He can go for more of these walls, cutting off members of FlyQuest. With all the extra towers they've taken down, there's so much more opportunity for him to make those types of plays. And then with Moby Boots, Chem Tank Alistar, and Chem Tank on the Gragas, the initiators here for Cloud9 are just looking for somebody to get walled off.
Yeah, Vulcan just now completed the Turbo Kim Tank as his first non-support item. So they're looking to make sure they can keep playing this game how, where, and when they want to play it. Now, FlyQuest will disengage from that attempt there. The Weaver's Wall, I like them going for it, but hey, it didn't quite work out. 55 seconds until the 4th Drake of the game is alive. And this one's very important for FlyQuest. If the rest of the game is slipping away, one silver lining on that dark cloud that they still have is that they're 3-0 in the Drake count right now. If they can manage to navigate a team fight and secure that Infernal Soul, it could be a huge benefit for this squad in trying to stabilize.
It definitely would. You know, best scenario, you get it with a Kaisa W. They part the seas, they let it get through or something, and you don't lose anything. But I would be very cautious at throwing bodies at that dragon because Cloud9 will break right into your base. The mid wave is already there. They're circling around bottom. Can they get Johnson out?
I don't think they're worried about breaking the base. They're worried about breaking their face. Johnson's caught out. The damage goes through, and Vulcan's got the kill. Diamond stuck in the middle of the entirety of the Cloud9 team. Licorice is following suit. Everybody line up, single file. Welcome to Cloud9's Vin's on a killing spree. 3 for nothing.
Yeah, that's the problem here. They've got no defenses to fall back on. Overextend, Cloud9 pounce. Pala Faker's got a plan. Hide on bush. It's very
Hide on
scary
bush,
here.
go home.
That's
the plan. You
yeah,
can't do anything else.
Anticlimactic hide on bush. It is going to be Cloud9 taking that one up, though. They get right through Tristana. Explosive shot on that tower. Let me tell you, the spoilers, it go boom.
Phenomenal. I love the ability that you have to predict these things. Just incredible foresight. We're going to have to test and see if
it's not
you're
on screen, you know, so yeah, anything could happen there. But let me tell you, explosive shot blows up. Okay. Anyways, Johnson, as we were saying, can he get out of there? Guess what? Vulcan says, no way. You shall not pass. Diamond's dead too. Licorice had tried to teleport in, thinking maybe they pulled this one out, but it is too many casualties too quickly for FlyQuest, and Cloud9 with their giant wallets just slam it down onto FlyQuest. Nice dragons, but you've got no business getting out onto this map. It would have to be some miracle, you know, steal or something there for FlyQuest to be able to get something back and get that leverage back in their favor. Already we've got Medjai stacks, 10 pages for Blabber. It's got the bonus move speed. It's actually really fun for Taliyah, utilizing her passive as well. Further augments that speed, and Cloud9 have the entire map really to work with. After that last one, you know, they exposed the bottom lane inhibitor, the most valuable one because it's furthest away from Baron. That's about to come back up onto the map. You just kind of play the tug of war. Hey, FlyQuest, you want to come to this Baron? Well, guess what? They've got a lot of turn potential.
Oh, man. And you know what? I want to check in real quick because remember, like, Fudge has been under a lot of criticism. He had a pretty rough lock-in tournament, but let's check and compare top laners here. Licorice is 35 CS ahead, but Fudge has a 4-0-3 scoreline with 7 out of 11 kill participation, so like 70-ish KP. Licorice is 0-4-1. I'm going to have to call up Azael and tell him to return that Licorice to the store and buy some Fudge instead because it is clearly the superior dessert today. Johnson nearly taken down by Perks as the bomb is strapped to his head and brings him down to 100 HP. Licorice with the flash out trying to stay alive. Enemy AD carries at nothing in terms of health. You just got the flash out of the top laner, and C9 are setting up for Baron.
How do you know if the Fudge is good if no one's been able to taste it? 0 deaths here, while you know, Cloud9 been eating Licorice all day, every day of the week. No flash on him again. Baron burning down. Do they actually turn? They could go for the burn here. Jose!
Oh, here they go. Jose Diodo's in the pit, but it's still secured by Blabber. I love the fact that Jose tried to go for it. You have to in these situations, but it doesn't work out. C9 has the control. You saw Jose's smite come down a little bit early. He still had a couple hundred HP remaining. Sven's on a rampage as Diamond has to flash away from the seismic shove to stay alive. Enemy jungler and mid laner are down. Bottom inhibitor exposed, as you already mentioned previously. Vulcan going over the wall here with Blabber looking to set up yet another kill. Cloud9 is the kind of team that goes in 2v3 over the enemy base wall with a blast cone and lives to tell the tale. Vulcan's providing the CC and the rest of the squad's here with the damage. There it is, double kill for Blabber, ace for Sven, and Cloud9's got nothing left to do but walk it in.
Sorry, not sorry, as Cloud9 take down Licorice again. Angry Bee is at it. These Nexus turrets don't stand a chance. Good luck, Jose.
There it is, man. That's the end of the game. Perks is just making sure Jose Diodo does not leave those steps. Perks dies there at the very end, but I don't think he was ever much of a KDA player anyway. Sven and the rest of Cloud9 have more than enough firepower to take this one down. And as close as it was at the start, man, once Cloud9 turned it on, it did not turn off. 16-6, 29 minutes in, GG.
TY for the extra little fantasy points at the end there. Perks, by the way, I got a couple of FlyQuest members on my team. Every little bit does help for the fountain kill. All right, Cloud9 though, really, really big focus on that mid-game swing. So much money means that you're never going to be able to see the end of that soul. 3 dragons, you did all this work, so much of the mid-game, stalling out, keeping the gold almost even there, and then bam, Cloud9 blow it open, full ace, all these kills, pick up the dragon, pick up the baron afterwards, push down all these towers, and all of a sudden you have to sit on your hands and wait for the opportunity to come to you. And Cloud9 don't really give that one up. They are so good at pushing ahead once they have these big leads.
Yeah, once Cloud9 has the lead, they have 2 champions with a turbo Kim tank ready to start up whenever they feel like they can go in. Blabber being completely unafraid on the Taliyah to ride that wall in and make sure he's providing the opportunity to start off these fights. Cloud9 are ruthless in those situations, and they're going to end week 2 with a 5-1 record here in the LCS. Some very impressive stuff for them, while FlyQuest drop down to 2-4 and have some more things to work on, my friend.
They certainly do. Congrats to Fudge for the really good Gragas play. No deaths for him. After the break, we are going to hear from Riv and Sven in the Verizon post-game interview. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to another Verizon post-game interview. I am now joined by Cloud9's Sven. After their victory over FlyQuest, Sven, how you been?
Good. I don't think I had the best week overall, but I'm happy we got away with a 2-1. I think all the games this week were kind of close, and they didn't have to be. So I think 2-1 is a pretty good result considering the level of play we showed this week compared to last week.
All right. What were you mostly unhappy with in that level of play?
I mean, against one of the yesterday, we had level 1 where I lost 3 melee minions level 1, and then I got chunked really hard by Set level 2. He trade flashes, and I got dove by them. And even though they TP with Aatrox, I would die 2v2 on my tower at level 2, so that's pretty bad. In that game, Blabber and Perks carried me, so I was grateful for that, but it was a messy game, and we ended up winning only because I threw at Baron. It was like a game of throws, essentially, so it feels bad like winning that kind of game, because you should have lost, but 2-1 considering all is pretty good. And today I didn't really play bad. I just didn't do anything today. I was just there, right? So.
And talking about today, it was Cloud9 that suffered a few bee stings early in the game. What was the communication like for C9 to make sure FlyQuest couldn't take full control?
I mean, once Luca stopped anything, I think the game was pretty simple. Honestly, like early game, I mean, we knew where Grace was. We said, okay, he's going butt crab, we're going top crab. It's very, very normal opening. And it's like, yeah, it's fine, I won't get ganked. And then he gets ganked, dies. He's like, ah, shit. And then he dies again to a dive mid. Actually, I think that was a good play by them. But I think once we got the Herald swap, we got the Herald, and we got top tower, and we got a kill on Aatrox for free. It's kind of nice. And then the game's like in this stalemate where you can just farm for free for a while. And then I think our comp kind of outscales.
Yeah.
And then we had one team fight that we won at some point. On Dragon fight, we killed everyone and got Baron. Then the game was over. So it was a little. It wasn't super reliable that everyone, but I think it's good that even though we fell behind, we could stabilize the game. So I feel okay with this week.
All right, so I have a question for you next. If you were to give the team a power level right now, 1 through 10, what would it be?
I'd say like 7.5, something like that. I think we could be much better than we are. We have good players in every role, and I think that we're overall a pretty good team right now. We're first place shared with one of the Thieves, right? But I think that we make a lot of mistakes in the games that are very unnecessary. Yesterday, me dying level 1 or level 2, whatever, was unnecessary. Today, Perks died to gank that we know what Grace is the whole time, right? So a lot of these kind of things happen in the games, and it's very easy to clean up. So I think once those things are gone and we have a little bit better drafts, sometimes we will be like a 9 or something like that in relative to any LCS level, right? I think
Perfect.
The level of play this year in LCS is a bit higher than last year, comparing it's week 2 or 3 in terms of games. So I'm happy that Lock-in kind of like got over all the jitters and the early season int games. So I think the Lock-in tournament was good for us personally. We got a lot out of it as a team, so I'm happy.
That's awesome. And I know you spoke a little bit earlier about being a bit unhappy with the performance, but I still got to ask you, since it can creep up on teams with Cloud9 successful so far, how is the team approaching that success to prevent the sometimes, present complacency that follows with it?
Let me think. I think last year we got a little bit complacent when we were winning everything. In Summer Split, it showed really heavily that we were like 9-0 in Summer Split, and then it just went downhill. We won every game in scrims with whatever champion we played, so we lost the read on meta, and we were very slow to adapt. And I think our coaching staff didn't help us through the slump. But this year, I feel like even if we fall into a slump or we get complacent, that Mitty, Veigar, Max Waldo, and Rainover will like pull us out of the hole, I guess, and make sure that we don't get complacent. So I feel like we have a safety net in a way. So I feel very confident that we won't get complacent and lazy this year like we did last year.
Awesome. I'm sure the fans are happy to see it. Sven, it's always a pleasure to talk to you on the way back to the analyst desk. I want to say thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Always great to hear from Sven. And we should have invited him to our Divers Ed earlier, giving an honest scoring of his own team there, maybe get some opinions on the others. But looking back at that game, Cloud9 had a powerful performance. But I think we do have to pay some respect to the plays that were being made by FlyQuest in the early game.
Yeah, so I want to shout out some of the moves that FlyQuest made early. I think this gank that we're about to see from Jose Diodo at level 4 was really smart. Tristana has priority in this lane, so she is going to be pushed up. And this is actually I believe the repeat gank, because they blew a flash earlier. But Yeah, I mean, I liked a lot of the moves that FlyQuest were making early. This is a slight mistake by Vulcan. I think he takes a little too much turret aggro there, and Diamond's able to finish him off with the Ignite. But, you know, they kept picking on Perks because he, again, is going to tend to push out. I think they did a really good job of identifying where they could attack early. And like I said previously, I think Jose Diodo, they were a little bit more focused on having him be a carry, but in here we saw him in lanes pretty early, and I liked that look from FlyQuest.
I think
Back crumbs.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I also like the attention there. Not everyone's going to pick up that kill, and I think it shows a mastery of Graves out of Jose Diodo to actually finish off the first kill onto Perks. And then once you get the flash in that matchup versus Syndra, like, I'm no League of Legends genius. Even I was like, he's dead at 6. And then sure enough, the roam happens. But I like that it involved Diamond and him getting out on the map and kind of following with what Emily was talking about earlier this weekend about how it's good to see him getting more proactive and more confident on the actual LCS stage. So all that early game was great out of FlyQuest. And I was like, oh my God, are we going to see like another upset today before things kind of started to go off the rails a little bit?
I thought that Sven's interview was very relevant to that early play because he was saying that the Graves was envisioned the whole time. Cloud9 knew what Jose Diodo was up to, yet he still gets the gank off against Perks. So that is more on Perks messing up. So the fact that FlyQuest was getting these plays, I think partially, yeah, them looking for it, but they were under Cloud9's guys the whole time. So I think a big part of Cloud9 making mistakes, knowing that FlyQuest was looking for these.
Well, and that's part of it, not necessarily being mistake-free, but as a team, seeing how you adapt to still turn it into a victory. And Mark, that is ultimately what it ended up being for Cloud9 once they got into that team fight too.
Yeah, I think this is the issue still facing FlyQuest a little bit is their 5v5 is not nearly as coordinated as a lot of the other teams in the LCS right now. This is a situation which is tough already. You're a little bit behind the game. They get the Drake. They can maybe play for Drake's soul here, but they get split. And here it's a 4-3 versus a 2-1. So actually I think it'd be way better if FlyQuest try to force onto the other members of C9. It would be tough. They don't have a lot of flashes. They don't have a lot of playmaking tools, but they had to do something on their own because if you just let the 2-man chase down your 1, they'll kill him and then collapse on you, which is what ended up happening here. You know, they're in a tough spot between a rock and a hard place. Anytime you're kiting down, you know, south into the enemy team's territory, you're in a really bad spot already. So part of that is a big, you know, head tap to the fact that Cloud9 is a very coordinated 5v5 team and being able to split them in that situation. And that's why I think they shine still compared to a lot of teams in the league right now. Sven was still saying they have a lot to improve on, but C9 is still also better than a lot of teams in the 5v5 skirmishes.
Yeah, he was saying that he felt like he was just there, but if you're there to do the damage, then sometimes that's just what your team needs when you're being as coordinated as they are. I do want to revisit our top lane, though, because going into this, we did have a focus on Fudge versus Licorice. So as far as how they do match up, here is the thing. I think Fudge, when it comes to being a sweet here on Valentine's Day, just has a lot more sweetness to it. If you compare it to Licorice, that is kind of on the bitter side. So I think that that's where I'd be leaning in this case. I don't know about you guys.
It's not just the sweetness, but the versatility that Fudge has in being able to both be a hard candy, also be a little bit soft and give you a bit of a chewy crunch, and also really soft liquidy if you want. It's just way more suitable for so many different occasions versus Licorice. That's always hard.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I feel like I've got Fudge in my fridge right now, but Licorice, I can probably count on my hands how many times I've tasted that particular candy. Mark, Emily, any thoughts in on this very pointed discussion?
I feel like that scoreline does Licorice dirty. It was like pretty close until that fight replay that we just showed. And I think Fudge picked up 3 kills in that or something. He went to 4-0 at the end of that. So definitely doing Licorice a little dirty. But on a candy level, I 100% agree.
Yeah, I was going to say,
why?
From a game perspective, another thing that I know Sven called out in the interview was the fact that they were able to get Herald, use it topside, and totally take that turret. And they kind of took over the top side, and then when Fudge TP'd in, he got, I believe, that triple kill on bot. So I think in terms of candy, I want to go to bat for anything star anise because I'm Italian. We use it in a lot of our desserts. I just made chili oil the other day and used it, but I have to agree that Fudge is superior to Licorice as a candy.
So we all understand. In that game, a little bit of a different role played by both of these, but Fudge wins here on the desk. We're going to go ahead and snack on some Fudge in our fridges, but when we come back, we do have one more game to go between CLG and Golden Guardians that you don't want to miss. See you there.
Hard.